Hi Richard, thanks very much for the question on your Caple tumble dryer. Now you actually say that you've got a Caple TDL4000. I think you'll find if you look closely at the identification label, which is inside the door, you will find that it is actually a TDL4000. This tumble dryer is manufactured by the Hoover Candy Group for Caple, which is a brand. These tumble dryers are pretty reliable, really. You say you've got a problem where you think the motor capacitor is gone, and I'm quickly going to talk through what error you may be getting on the system. If the drum will not start, the first thing you will notice is you hear a humming noise coming from the bottom right-hand side of the machine. This is a good sign that the motor capacitor has gone, and if you took the lid off the machine and gave it an assisting push, you would find the machine starts on one rotation, but when it comes to doing the opposite rotation, it may stop and start humming again. This is the most common cause of these tumble dryers failing. Now, the big problem being is the manufacturer, Hoover Candy, only actually sell the tumble dryer with the the capacitor with the motor. So it isn't readily available on their parts list. But I can tell you, after doing some research and looking at the motor, I think it is a 7 microfarad capacitor. Now, when I say 7 microfarad, and it's very important that you identify the correct capacitor for your machine before ordering any parts. You will need to strip down the machine first, and I'm putting a link in the description on this video, which will have all the associated videos you need to repair the machine. On the capacitor, which is down by the motor, you will see a number and it will say 7UF. I think that is the size on your capacitor. 7UF stands for 7 microfarad. And this is the size of the capacitor. If you can, I would buy a steel casing one. They're normally made by Capacitor. And they are readily available and are going to cost you under £20. And I will put a link in the description to the associated capacitors for Hoover and Candy tumble dryers, which manufacture for Caple. Now, the big problem being with your machine is they're not that easy to gain access to the capacitor. Now, I'm going to put videos on this web page for you. As I said, I'll put the link in the description. The front of the machine has to come apart, and if you are really technically minded, it is possible to replace the capacitor without removing the drum. But really speaking, I would always advise you to actually remove the drum, and while you're changing the capacitor, do some maintenance. These tumble dryers build up with so much fluff over a period of 4 or 5 years, it is well worth spending the time with a vacuum cleaner and an old paintbrush to go round dusting everywhere and hoovering up all the dust. It will make the machine so more efficient, and not only efficient in drying the clothes, but save you a lot of money in electricity bills. So the drum has to come out of the machine with the front unit. Make sure you clean all the ducting system down the hole here at the front and all the pipework going through. Condensing tumble dryers, it is worth taking the condensing box outside and giving it a good blast with a high pressure hose pipe, or maybe even a pressure washer, to clear out all the ducting tubes. And remember, the air flows through that box in 2 directions. The hot air circuit goes from front to back. The cold air circuit goes from left to right. The differential between the 2 temperatures creates the condensation process that has to take place for it to collect the water, to transfer it to the pump, to bring it up to the collection tray or the collection tray at the bottom, depending on your model, of course. I will put all the relevant information you need on this webpage for you. All the information you need with regards to your Caple tumble dryer, which is manufactured by the Hoover Candy Group, so any of my Hoover Candy videos will assist you. And I will put a link there as well to all the spare parts for your machine. Remember, when taking the wires off the capacitor, do take a detailed photograph to make sure that you get the wiring put back on correctly, as I've seen so many people wire these things up incorrectly over a period of time. And I've got a fly on the camera, so that always annoys me when that happens just at the middle of the video. Anyway, take a photograph, replace the capacitor. I would always replace it with the steel ones, not the plastic ones. The Capacitor capacitors are very good, and the machine should go on for many more years if you've done a bit of maintenance to the machine. Most of the problems that occur with tumble dryers is due to the lack of maintenance. Anyway, have a good Christmas. I hope this article helps you. Remember, the link is in the description on this video, and it will take you through to a specific web page with all the information to assist you. Have a great Christmas. Thanks for contacting us.